every year I have the practice of going to a fortune teller to get my fortune read. And then he said, in the next 10 years, if you keep letting money decide what you do and who you are never going to get clarity about what is going to make you happy and meaningful. So maybe subconsciously I knew what it was that would make me happy, but then I worried so much about whether I was going to make good money and get a paycheck. So maybe he's right. Let the money side relax and just focus on helping people resolve conflicts and tensions, and then things will fall into place, and I would then come to embrace that my purpose is that.
I heard that a lot of CEOs or people in leading positions, they actually seek the advice of astrologers.
Oh, you have no idea. Then they are probably the most superstitious community.
Is it?
I think it's really because high-performing people like certainty, and this is well founded by psychological research. Actually, the more high-achieving you are, and the smarter you believe you are, the tougher it is for you to experience ambiguity.
Right.
Yeah. It's very difficult for successful people to be in a situation where they don't have answers. I break it down into actually, what do you want? What do you as a husband and a human being and a father really want right now, right? And what do you need right now, right? And sometimes that is not enough. So then I make it, especially with Asian clients, we think relationally, right? So then I say, what is it you want your wife to know you need? What do you want your children to know you currently most desire? So when you say that, then they will go, okay, I want my wife to leave me alone on Sundays. Because actually, that's how Singaporeans think. But because a lot of coaches and psychotherapists, especially in Singapore, are trained in the Western way, not just Western, American way. And in America now, there's a lot of this well-being mania, right? About, you need to take care of self-care. It's actually a very niche language that we speak when we talk about self-care and positive affirmation. A lot of my clients don't know what we're going on about. I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, you need to help me. You need to help me apply things that you need to make this useful for me. The idea that that there are many spiritualists in town.
Spiritualists.
Yeah, people who believe in the afterlife and all. And that is true, right? Believe in ghosts, fortune telling. But a lot of us do it in service of success and attainment. So it's not like we are shamans, walking shamans who believe in energy field and healing people. It's not that, right? It's still we believe in it in order to get us something, and it's usually material. I think we have arrived at this point where we have realized that maybe attainment, achievement is not what gives people happiness. Shouldn't we, as people who have come across that point, also as a point of legacy, help people figure out what is their purpose in life? Because you may be retired, you may be semi-retired, or you may be thinking about retiring, but you need to figure out what you can do that's going to plant seeds that will help other people. Helping people figure out what they want to do next, one person at a time, it's not a bad way to give back.
Welcome to The Big Why, a podcast about life's biggest questions. As we experience more material abundance, we face deeper spiritual hunger. And the gap between what we have and what we truly need leads us back to the big questions of life. Where do we come from? Why are we here? And where are we going? As of today, no one has found the answer. I believe that each human being is part of the truth. It's like a puzzle that wants to come together, yet there are always some pieces missing. This podcast is striving to put part of this puzzle together. I'm Anne-Kristine Vaudour. I grew up in East Germany and I have lived in China, Italy and Hong Kong. Now I call Singapore my home. Living across cultures has shaped my lens of life and work. In each episode of this podcast, I'm speaking to people from different walks of life, to artists, coaches, modern mystics, academics, scientists, mothers, migrants, and many more. I talk to them about their work, about their values, beliefs, and what gives them meaning. And it's not only about the answers, it's also about the search. Enjoy the episode.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Big Why, a podcast where we explore the meaning of life and we try to discover what truly gives us purpose. And for that reason, I'm speaking to people that dare to step off the beaten path, which very often comes with personal sacrifices and also is sometimes being met with misunderstanding with the people around them. But yet it's all worth it because these people usually feel truly aligned with what they are doing. And today I'm super excited to welcome Jason Leow. Jason, so you are a senior managing director at FTI Consulting, but you're also the CEO and founder of the Doing Well Center. So actually, when you look back at your career, it reads like a senior leadership career. I mean, you have been in top management positions at Shell, GIC, Edelman. You worked for the Wall Street Journal, and now at FTI Consulting. But well, instead of just going higher, faster, and louder, you actually deliberately put time aside to build the Doing Well Center, which you very often refer to as the Quiet Council. Mm-hmm. And so I just want to know what brought you on that path and when did you decide that this is the right thing to do?
Right. Thank you, Anne. I'm super excited to be here as well. And thank you for the introduction. Yes, you're right. I've always had a corporate life. I believe it was 2012, I decided that while pursuing corporate achievements, I felt it was important also to create a lifeline of my own that would be independent of what organizations would do to you or with you, right? I think that came out of my experience. In 2012, I just left the media. And I left the media at a time when the industry itself was getting very fragmented. The newsrooms were just starting to figure out what to do with digitalization, what to do with the multimedia world. Mm. I left to go in-house into corporate communications, but that also left me with the conviction that should I ever be restructured out of a job, I wanted to have something I could call my own. Right. So in 2012, I went to train. I wanted to train to become a psychotherapist. Okay. But at that time, my mentor said my personality was very suitable for hypnotherapy. So I dabbled in hypnotherapy training, then trained as a psychotherapist, then as a positive psychology counselor. And And in 2014, while getting trained to be all of these things, I set up the Doing Well Center as a psychotherapy outfit, right? As a solopreneur, but working with a constellation of other psychotherapists. So it's grown. It's grown. Today, it's also an executive coaching arm. In the last year, I've gotten myself certified by the International Coaching Federation as a PCC accredited coach, which is the second most senior tier, right? At the same time, the business has evolved into a second arm called the Quiet Council, which is a more advisory business, working with organizations and boards to figure out the way forward when there are strategic kind of pivots to make. So, for instance, sometimes we might be called in to explain what on earth is going on with the AI landscape and what your industry is going to face if AI develops further, right? So a bit of scenario planning, a bit of figuring out how boards should be guiding management, right? So now I actually in the middle of last year, I stepped off corporate life, thinking that I would do this full time.
Okay.
Right. And I did do this full time with a business partner. So we are now actually a duopreneur. So it is a bit of going back to my roots, right? Of doing of having a corporate career.
Okay.
That being said, it is very clear in my mind that I go in with a very different mindset. I left corporate life in the middle of last year, knowing very well that for me, attainment, achievement is not what drives me. Right. What drives me is the idea that I would plant seeds every single day to make sure that these seeds grow into something more meaningful for the organization and for the people that work with me or work for me. Okay. So it's kind of like paying it forward. And I bring that attitude to my new role as a senior managing director at FTI Consulting. In fact, I do have a fellow partner who's my coach, my boss, and that's what I said to him. This week that every single day I try and talk to somebody and about an idea that could take the business in an interesting direction, so that the team has interesting projects that they can take on, and planting seeds. Okay. Yeah.
I mean, thanks for sharing that. I mean, for me, that sounds like a very strategic decision. Is there also something, to build something, first of all, kudos, you built like a full, let's say, a full-fledged career also in the psychology space and in the wellness space while working. Because, I have been in corporate as well, and I know it's like so busy. You actually just want to go home and shut off after work, right? But you actually built this other career while working in all those C-suite level and board advisory level positions. So I believe there is also like some extreme meaning for you in what you're doing at the Doing Well Center. Am I right?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I'll kind of sidetrack a little bit and tell you a story that happened recently. It involves an artist. It involves an installation artist who is quite famous now as somebody who integrates art with metaphysics. And every year I have the practice of going to a fortune teller to get my fortune read. And this year I signed up with this artist to have my next 10-year cycle read, right? With the agreement that our session would be material for him to turn into art, whether as a video installation or an installation piece or whatever it is. And he And I got to know of him at this year's Art SG, and then I followed him, and then I signed up for time with him.
Okay.
And one of the things that really struck me was he said, look, in the next 10 years, if you focus, first of all, he said this, in your younger days, you filtered all your decisions through money. Everything is money, money, money. If it doesn't make money, you don't do it, right? And I said, oh my God, that's me. I'm very, very pragmatic, right? Besides, I grew up very poor, so it was very important that I was financially secure. That was my motivation. And then he said, in the next 10 years, if you keep letting money decide what you do and who you are never going to get clarity about what is going to make you happy and meaningful.
So that was like a pivotal moment.
Well, then, yes, it is. But then it was something else he said that struck me, because he said, if you focus your life and your energy on helping people resolve conflict, that's going to give you a lot of happiness. That's going to give you that sense of direction that you need, and then that's going to solve the money problem.
Mm-hmm.
When I heard him say that, I said, wait a minute, I've always been doing that, right? As a psychotherapist, as an executive coach, that's what people come to me for, right? They cannot figure things out, so they need a thought partner to figure out what the next steps look like. And then in my corporate life, especially as an advisor, that's what I help organizations do. And I thought, hold on, so maybe subconsciously I knew what it was that would make me happy, but then I worried so much about whether I was going to make good money and get a paycheck. So maybe he's right. Let the money side relax and just focus on helping people resolve conflicts and tensions, and then things will fall into place, and I would then come to embrace that my purpose is that. Right?
And how does it feel right now? Did things like fall into place as you expect?
Well, we'll see.
Okay.
Right? I mean, that reading was done maybe 2 weekends ago, and it feels, what he said feels right. Maybe it's the Barnum effect, right? You want people to tell you what you already know, but having a complete stranger say that to you kind of makes you think, yeah, so maybe I have been taking the right decisions in kind of driving my life in a certain way, and for somebody else to look at it and say, oh yeah, it's in your charts, you know.
Right.
Yeah. This is really what you should be doing, without knowing what I actually do in life, right? So that kind of gives me the energy to carry on.
Right. Okay. I mean, I find it remarkable. I heard that a lot of like CEOs or people in leading positions, they actually seek the advice of astrologers.
Oh, you have no idea. Then they are probably the most superstitious community.
Is it? But not to the outside, right? Is it more like
no?
Okay.
Yeah.
It's like, because I always have the feeling that people in high pressure jobs, they kind of want to have a relief of all that, responsibility and pressure. So leaving it to a bigger force feels somehow a bit soothing, or is it that? Or
I think it's really because high-performing people like certainty, and this is well founded by psychological research. Actually, the more high-achieving you are, and the smarter you believe you are, the tougher it is for you to experience ambiguity.
right.
Yeah. It's very difficult for successful people to not to be in a situation where they don't have answers.
Oh, so this is basically a way to even just have an answer, right?
Yeah.
I mean, no matter what, but there is an answer, and
right. Yeah, which is not to say psychological research has talked about fortune telling's benefit. It has said it is harder for higher performing people to handle uncertainty. They always need answers, and so but I extrapolate that to assume that fortune telling
Right.
or superstitions
Yeah.
would be one way of giving them kind of a sense of direction, a sense of clarity.
Oh, that's so interesting. And so the fortune teller also spoke to you about money. What is the meaning of money for you?
Well, when I was younger, when I graduated from university, I had 2 job offers, which was monthly salary was a difference of $300, and I went with the one that gave me $300 more, because that was how much money meant to me, because I was taking care of my family. So I wasn't just the oldest son; I was, to some extent, the
Caretaker.
caretaker of my family, right? So I needed money.
Yeah.
And for a long time, it was what gave me financial security. Because I have told this story before. At one point in our lives, actually just before I did my A-levels, I was homeless. And I literally was living the Harry Potter life in the storeroom of my aunt's home. Oh, so that was my home.
That's your background.
Yeah.
That's how you grew up.
Yeah. So money for me was a symbol of security.
Okay.
And then, of course, when I had money and security, then it became a symbol of success, right?
Yes.
But these days, money is what gives me the confidence to say, let's not do things for money's sake. Let's go beyond that. Because I think I have I have enough, right?
Yeah.
To take care of the future. Now let's think about planting seeds, making sure that I pay it forward, making sure that I have the capacity to do interesting things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, when did that point in your life? I mean, what made you, feel that? Because I mean, I totally relate to what you said. You know, like growing up in poverty. So the first jobs you do, you just want to have safety, financial safety, right? And then at a certain point, money doesn't spark so much joy anymore. But we all need it, right?
Yeah.
And then there comes this point where you just think, okay, and what now? Did you have that moment?
I think yes. Last year, when I left my last corporate job, starting in July, that was my kind of flirtation with semi-retirement, right? I no longer had I was no longer in a corporate environment. I had no fancy title. My last work title was vice chairman, right? So I had none of the trappings of professional success. It was all me.
Yeah.
Right. So in that 5 months, a couple of things that I learned about myself. I could live with very little spending, was one. 2, I could actually, with what I already accumulated, I could actually live fairly comfortably.
Okay.
Right. And 3, I could be an entrepreneur if I chose to, but it would be a small-time business owner, right?
Okay.
Doing my own advisory, interesting projects.
Yeah.
But here's the last thing I learned about myself. I wasn't motivated I could not be motivated by money, right? I could deprioritize it, and I could deprioritize it very well. Mentally, it didn't worry me. Surprisingly, what worried me or what made me uncomfortable was the lack of a platform, right, to continue to have a public profile.
Oh, tell me more about that.
So being able to speak at conferences, right? Appearing in podcasts, right? Yeah. I like that, but I like it because it's an enabler for other things.
Yes.
Right? Actually, in the 5 months that I didn't have the corporate trappings, I was actually doing quite a lot of, I went on radio, I was interviewed by The Peak, I spoke, I moderated on a panel by the Singapore Institute of Directors. So all of these things were happening.
Yeah.
But I kept having this feeling that unless I went back to a corporate life, I may not continue to have these things, which by itself is not important. I think putting my name out there, right, would help me generate the opportunities that I'm looking for to be able to kind of build, to pay it forward, to be able to do more interesting things, to help teams that I'm working with encounter maybe issues or projects that they have never seen before.
Of course.
Right?
I mean, that's also the reason why we invite people like you, where you have an important message to give, and then people have the opportunity to find you.
Yeah.
And one of the things that you are dedicating yourself to is helping CEOs to retire successfully, right? So you call that from leadership to legacy, right?
Yes.
So tell me a little bit more about that. I mean, how did you find out about that there is like a huge need for that coaching niche?
I think it will be no surprise to you to hear that in Singapore, with so much change going on in the job market, right? With there have been a lot of layoffs, a lot of restructurings. Maybe not this year, but certainly in the last 2 years, you heard a lot of 40-somethings, 50-somethings being let go, right? And then they would try looking for jobs, and then 6 months later, they would fall off the grid. And then our unemployment numbers don't reflect them anymore, right?
Okay.
And certainly in your work, you would meet a lot of people who are advisors or managing money, right?
Yes, of course.
Basically, they're managing their own family savings, right? Yeah. So these, in the last years, I met many of them who were inadvertently, who through no control of their own, lost employment.
Okay.
And then scrambled to figure out what was going to give them meaning and purpose.
Okay.
Right? And I thought, listen, this is, I don't think this is going to go away, right?
Yeah.
I think Singapore is going to grapple with a lot more of these waves coming, right? And they're going to be more of us who are advisors, consultants, money managers, right? So-called, yeah. We rather than kind of let it hit us, we got to really plan for it.
Yeah.
Right.
There's also the retirement part, right? Like, I mean, I can imagine it's huge for a person that has a big title, like a big, how to say, resources at work, talent, budget, and loads of responsibility. I could also imagine that if a person like that retires, that can become quite disorientating, right?
Oh, yeah.
Is that also something that you help with?
Absolutely. And I would count them as the lucky ones because they know when they're going to go, right? They know when they're going to leave the organization. So they, but they are likely the ones who are going to have platforms, right? Because if this is a planned exit, they have their succession planning in place. They are already they are probably very well-known members of the establishment or successful corporate chiefs who are being courted by boards, right? Or courted by organizations who want to give them a second lifeline or third lifeline, right? So these are not exactly the people who need to worry. I do have, not anymore. Last year I had clients who were in that position,
Okay.
right? And more power to them that they're actively planning, right? Even though they're getting offers.
Okay.
They're not the ones whom I worry about. The ones whom I worry about are the people I just talked about. They didn't see it coming. But we all have to be thinking about what's next and what is the legacy we want to leave behind.
Sure.
Right. Especially when you are actually well prepared, but actually psychologically you're just very traumatized that suddenly you lost all of that glamour.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so these are the conversations you should be having with a coach.
Yeah.
And it's not a bad thing to say, okay, if this happens, what will I do? What will I do? Right. You may not execute it that way, but you actually have a plan.
Sure. So what is usually the main issue that your clients have, that the main problem that they come to you with?
They have a long list of what they don't want to do, right? But they don't know what they want to do.
Okay.
That will make them pass the time happily and productively.
So they don't want to join back the workforce usually?
Well, they may want to and not have the opportunity.
Yeah.
Or they may say, okay, I'm going to take a break. This was very traumatic. I need to rest.
Okay.
Right?
So and then you get to adapt according to where they are.
Yes. But quite often they will come and there's a long list of what they don't want to do. I don't want to play golf. I don't want to do charity work.
Okay.
I don't want to be a consultant. I don't want this. I don't want that. But then they struggle with, okay, but what are you going to do? I don't want to sit at home.
Yeah.
I don't want to spend the whole day staring at my wife. Right. Okay. That's a very common one. Right. My wife doesn't want to stare at me the whole day. That's also a very common one. And then the conversation is, okay, what comes to mind when you think, what do I want to do?
Okay.
Right? Yeah, and they go blank, right? And that's when I do have a methodology called I Want, I Need.
Okay.
It's really what I use with a lot of clients to clarify what are their deepest desires and values, right? I don't like the current fad, right, with purpose and meaning. Finding your purpose, finding your meaning, what is your internal compass? We all use these things, and we often have to use these things because these are popular terms of reference, right? But really, I find them very abstract.
Okay, so what's your special ingredient?
I break it down into actually, what do you want? What do you as a husband and a human being and a father really want right now, right? And what do you need right now, right? And sometimes that is not enough. So then I make it, especially with Asian clients, we think relationally, right? So then I say, what is it you want your wife to know you need?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. What do you want your children to know you currently most desire? So when you say that, then they will go, okay, I want my wife to leave me alone on Sundays. Yeah.
Okay.
I want my children to not expect me to spend time with them every single Sunday.
Okay. And
yeah. So then and then I make them write it down.
Yeah.
And then I go, okay, so basically you need time alone. You need them to respect that you.
So you translate that.
Yes, into something very concrete and specific.
I see.
Right. Because actually, that's how Singaporeans think.
Okay.
Right. But because a lot of coaches and psychotherapists, especially in Singapore, are trained in the Western way.
Yeah.
not just Western, American way.
Right.
And America now, there's a lot of this well-being mania, right? About, you need to take care of self-care.
Yeah.
Right.
So what's special about Singapore? The way that they think relational, right?
Yeah, it's actually a very niche language that we speak when we talk about self-care and positive affirmation. A lot of my clients don't know what we're going on about.
Okay, that's interesting. Tell me a little bit like what you can only expect a Singaporean client to ask you or to reflect on, like something that's very different from the Western way of coaching.
Yeah. So I've never entered the territory of, you need to name your anxiety, or you need to name your feeling.
Okay.
You need to how about this mantra that you say to yourself?
That doesn't translate well.
No.
Okay.
No. It's not even that it's not that they're uncomfortable, but I can sense this. I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, you need to help me. You need to help me apply things that you need to make this useful for me.
Right.
In the most traditional sense, something I can use. Right. So, so you want me to have a conversation with my wife? Okay, what is the topic going to be? Right?
Okay,
yeah.
So it's quite pragmatic, right?
Yes. Oh, yes. Yeah. Yeah. And something that I'm very comfortable with, because I go to a fortune teller, but I'm also very deeply pragmatic.
Yeah.
And I can quite quickly identify with a fellow Singaporean who's in need of advice they can use. Right?
So the cultural level is like really, really important.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I see that all the time, that it's so important to culturally relate to the client.
Yeah.
And there's one thing, I mean, on one side, I think, yes, Singaporeans are very pragmatic, but Singapore is also a place where you actually find a lot of fortune tellers, and you have a lot of spiritual practices, a lot of praying, temples, people visit temples, right? All the things that we don't do in the West. And then the hungry ghosts, like you care for the afterlife of your deceased ancestors. I mean, that these are only some of those practices. And honestly, very honestly, like to most Singaporeans that I have spoken, they have actually seen ghosts. Like, so, and I think there is this extreme, right? I mean, in the West, we haven't seen ghosts mostly. We haven't seen ghosts, and our spiritual practice is at most maybe a visit to the church. But a lot of people, even in the West, they don't visit churches. Right? I mean, Christianity is. I mean, I think religion is in a crisis in Europe right now. So what I want to know is, what do you think is so? I mean, what do you think as a coach? How do you pick up on those different things that are kind of polarized and fuse them together? Because I mean, I think it's difficult to have, for me, to have this pragmatism, but at the other side, this high sense of spirituality, and actually believe in an afterlife, and believe in feng shui and ghosts. Maybe, you know, it's probably something that for you is very normal, right? But seen from my perspective, it's kind of special, you know?
Okay, there are two things that you just said that I want to kind of push back a bit.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. One is the idea that that there are many spiritualists in town.
Spiritualists.
Yeah, people who believe in the afterlife and all. And that is true.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Right? Believe in ghosts, fortune telling. But a lot of us do it in service of success and attainment.
So there's the pragmatism again.
Yeah. So it's not like we are shamans, walking shamans who believe in energy field and healing people. It's not that, right? It's still, we believe in it in order to get us something, and it's usually material.
Oh,
right? Okay, I don't know. That's my observation. Your audience might challenge that.
I don't think so, actually. I think you're right. Yeah. I mean,
so it is back to the pragmatic materialists that we were talking about. So yes, but no, right? So that's the first challenge. The second challenge is yes, we are seeing a growing well-being, kind of a community of well-being advocates, but they are different from the well-being advocates may not believe in afterlife and right. So, but I more and more as I integrate myself deeper into this community, I've also realized that it's a very niche community.
It is
because everywhere I go, it's the same people. Right? It can be Reiki, it can be energy healing, it can be art therapy, but it's the same people doing all of these things.
Oh, okay.
Right? So it's not like it's a very mainstream. We're not California. Let's put it
right. Not yet. Yeah. I mean, I have the feeling that this community is growing and growing. I feel like, I mean, maybe it's the kind of people that I socialize with. You know, they are all.
It's an echo chamber.
I suppose so. Yeah. But I find it super interesting what you say. And do you think there is also a different? I mean, Singapore has a very international community. So do you think like there is also a big difference of how well-being and spirituality is being practiced among Singaporeans? Is there like let's say a subculture of coaches and wellness professionals that are Singaporean versus the Western expat community? What do you think? Or is it like more a merger of a fusion?
I don't have I'm a bit stumped there because I haven't thought about it that way.
I understand. Right? Yeah, that just came up, very...
I do think, I mean, coaching like psychotherapy is a very diverse field, right? There are coaches who follow the ICF method, as I do.
Yeah.
A lot of the times, right? Pure coaching. It's an inquiry process. I don't give advice. I don't mentor unless I'm being asked, right? And all the way to somatic coaching, you know, where you explore how your body feels, which I don't know how to do, and personally I'm not comfortable with it. Right?
Okay, I see.
Because because you're mixing a little bit of the psychotherapy element with coaching.
Okay.
And sometimes, I mean, the two modalities have different accountability.
Yeah, but you do hypnotherapy.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
But when I do hypnotherapy, I do hypnotherapy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
So you kind of really keep that separate.
Yeah. I would not blend the two.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see. Interesting. I mean, for yourself, if you had the choice, would you go to a local coach or an international coach, or you don't mind?
No, actually, I will go to a coach I like.
Okay, so there's no difference, you know,
right.
Like it's just you like the person.
Oh, yes, because coaching requires a safe space.
Yes.
Right? Unless I like the coach, I cannot begin to trust the coach.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So the cultural differences, they are secondary.
Maybe not. But my first point of evaluation is really whether I like her, right? Because the liking opens the heart right, to trusting, right? But then maybe the second layer is languaging.
Okay.
Right? And I think languaging is, I'm actually very open to people who speak more in the abstract and more metaphorical.
Okay.
But to a point, right? Yeah. So I cannot deal with extremely woo-woo language, right?
Okay, so there always has this grounded part.
Yes. Yeah. So certain bits of advice, like be, not do, it irritates me to hell. Right?
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's not much that you can do with that, right?
Yeah.
Understand. Okay, let's come back to legacy, right? So you are coaching people, usually like high performers, about their legacy. In your experience, what is usually the thing that people want to, especially high achievers, that they want to leave behind for coming generations? Like, what is usually their legacy? Is there like a common thread, or is it very different?
Not my favorite. Not yes. There is a commonality. A lot of successful people, after they leave the professional setting, they want to enable other people to succeed. Right?
Okay. Like giving back, basically.
Yes. It is transferring of skills to become even more high achieving. Right? When it is what it is. To me, it is what it is. Many people want that.
Okay.
It is not my place as a coach to judge whether that is right or wrong.
Yeah.
But if it were my place, I would encourage them to say, hey, listen, I think we have arrived at this point where we have realized that maybe attainment, achievement is not what gives people happiness. Shouldn't we, as people who have come across that point, also as a point of legacy, help people figure out what is their purpose in life?
Interesting. Right? So why do you think that is? That do you think maybe there's a blind spot also for some people, that they don't see the other way? I mean, a way that you have chosen, right? Instead of just creating other high achievers, to actually really, really calm down, come to the essence, and come up with something that might potentially give them more purpose. But there's also very big inner programming for CEO. Their whole life was built around achievement, success, wealth. That's what they know. That's what they do. Do you think, I always have the feeling like you see something in corporate that others might not see. Do you think if those people would like really sit down very, very quietly and distill all their feelings, like get rid of all the layering, like of the conditioning, do you think they might see another purpose?
You mean the younger ones or
the CEOs that care about their legacy?
Actually, maybe. I'm not sure, but I'm more inclined to think that actually what they're doing, I may have my point of view about what is more enabling, but how they have been responding and what I'm seeing is actually not irrational, right? Because most of them are going to, or have been telling me, listen, the people I mentor, the people I meet are in the prime of their lives, in their 30s and 40s. In that, I'm not mentoring people who are 75. Right?
So it's not about retirement, your practice.
The people who I coach are in turn mentoring people who are younger. And then when we look at the people in their 30s and 40s, do we really expect them to slow down and reflect on purpose and meaning?
Yeah, of course.
It's all about getting the bigger job, earning the bigger pay. So it's not irrational for my clients to be saying, it's the life stage. So
I thought from leadership to legacy is about retirement. Yeah.
So not necessarily. It's about finding what is enabling that you can do. Right? What you can do that's going to enable others, right? Because you may be retired, you may be semi-retired, or you may be thinking about retiring, but you need to figure out what you can do that's going to plant seeds that will help other people.
So do you have any retired CEOs coming to you, or that's rather rare?
I have had a few, but I would say most of the clients I've had, and I've had to kind of taper off the coaching clients because I have a a full-time consulting job right now, right? So the ones I've had are really the ones who are either thinking about it, right, or are still not ready for it.
Okay, I see. So it's a different stage. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Talking about yourself and about your legacy, what is it that you want to create? What would be your legacy that you want to leave behind?
Not a grand vision, that's very sure. I will continue to be very happy to take on individuals who want to figure out how to live life that's going to make them happier, right? So this fortune teller said to me, I got to be, and I got to amplify. Yes, that's going to make me very happy, but I need to find a way to amplify my impact. Maybe by writing books, maybe by doing public speaking. All of these things may be possible.
Yeah.
But if I didn't have those, and I only had individual one-to-one coaching clients, and I continue to do this until I'm very old, to my, to the last day that I live, that's good enough.
Right.
Right? Helping people figure out what they want to do next, one person at a time.
Okay.
It's not a bad way to give back.
Sure. So it's just like, one step at a time, and eventually that will accumulate. And then there's also the amplification of your knowledge through podcasts and through
if I get those opportunities,
public engagement and writing books. I think that sounds good. I think that's also a good closing for our podcast. I would like to ask you one last question that I'm asking everyone. Just imagine, like for 10 seconds, there is like a huge microphone that puts out a message to the world, and you are behind the microphone. So for 10 seconds, the whole world is listening to you. What would you say? What would be your message?
At some point in your life, figure out what's really important to you.
I like that. Very precise, very to the point. Well, thank you so much, Jason. That has been a real pleasure, and I've learned so much during today's talk with you, discussion with you.
I'm glad this was somewhat helpful.
It was, definitely. Well, we got some secrets here from the life of CEOs. If people want to find you, where can they find you? Like website, Instagram, LinkedIn? What is the best way?
Well, I have a website for my own business. It's Doing Well Center, one word, the British way of spelling center, doingwellcenter.com.
Okay.
Or jason@doingwellcenter.com.
Okay.
Right. Thank you.
So, well, thanks for listening to this episode. And if you want to know more about how different people find meaning and purpose in their lives, although it is overrated to phrase it like that, apparently. But please tune into our next podcast. Thank you.
Thank you.